It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
Hello, and welcome back to Bigfoot Collectors Club. I'm your host, Michael McMillan, and with me, as always, is your other host.
I'm Bryce Johnson.
Hi, Bryce.
Hi.
Episode 3.
I know,
Here
man.
we are.
Ooh, 3's a lucky number. Here we are.
How has your life changed since we started this podcast?
Man, I just feel so impassioned to be sharing all these cool ghost stories and weird paranormal events with you, and I think it's brought a lot of joy in my life.
It's really funny because I've been shooting Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and the cast and crew have been very cool that they've listened to the first episode, a handful of them, and now everyone's got a paranormal story that they want to tell me. And I was like, oh, this is the real reason you do this, because you start collecting all these great stories.
Yeah.
And I was out the other night, and I got a frantic phone call from my friend Bray Blair. Shout out Bray. Do you know Bray Blair? She's an actress. She called me in a panic, and she's like, I am driving right now with my friend in Santa Monica, and we are looking out over the ocean, and we are seeing these lights go up into the sky, and they are yellow. And we're like, no, it must be a plane. And then a plane came by, and that is not a plane. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let me tell you. There are some USOs off the coast of Santa Monica. They think there's an underwater UFO base there. There's so much activity off Catalina Island. She's like, really? Oh, my God. I was like, listen, you have to email us.
Get out of there now.
I was like, you have to email the show or call in, and we'll do this story. And she's like,
BigfootCollectorsClub at gmail.com.
She goes, wait. Oh, they're just lanterns. Someone's letting lanterns out in the sky.
That's great. That's good.
But I love... She was on it. She called me the hotline. It's the Ghostbusters hotline.
That's so great.
And of course, most of these stories, it turns out to be something benign. But
you're like, I'm sleeping right now. Don't call me at this hour.
Do not call me unless you have proof that it is a metallic object.
Right.
Well, anyway, welcome to our third episode. We have an amazing guest with us today who I have some shared paranormal history that we have not discussed. Please welcome to the clubhouse. You know her from Veep. You know her from her improv team. Team's a fine thing to say. Yeah. Oh, she's giving me the thumbs up. Wild Horses. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Here is Mary Holland.
Yay! Yay! The crowd goes wild. Hi, guys.
It's just a bunch of lanterns.
Yes, that's the thing about me. I look like a human woman, but I'm just a bunch of lanterns.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Mary, so what I know, this is a bit leading because I know you've got something in the chamber for us.
Well, I sure do.
But before we get there, what is your paranormal personal history? What do you believe in or not believe in?
I really do believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal. I think there are strange things that happen. There's energy that exists on several planes, I think. And I want to believe, / also I do believe that sometimes beings or energies from that plane will interact with ours.
That vibe's right with me.
Yeah, you are in the right place.
Yeah.
So do you think that these beings, this energy, does that explain, is this a unifying theory for you that this could be not only ghosts, but perhaps demons or perhaps aliens or fairies or that kind of stuff?
I think it does encompass those things. I would say probably forces of, I would say less that I would define them as demons as much as forces of evil. So it's not tied to any sort of Christian, heaven, hell, angels, demons type thing, but it is forces of evil. What was that?
Something just flew across the room.
I don't want to demysterious it, but it was Riley's phone, I believe.
And it was
iPhone.
Why did
But Riley, did the phone, was the phone knocked off?
He doesn't know. He's saying,
doesn't know.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
He's saying, wait, he's miming that a bunch of lanterns flew through
You
the
know what? That could have been our first happening here at the
Yes.
You know
Collectors
something has to
Clubhouse.
happen. We're sort of out in the LA wilderness.
We are.
Yeah, we're in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I was
No.
actually just saying,
Really
a possible
lovely.
future episode, I believe there's some great UFO lore around this area in particular.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh, interesting.
So we'll peek into that later. But
Bryce, and we sort of touched upon it in episode 1, Bryce is very much subscribes to this philosophy. I entertain it as well, but I feel like you're very strong that a lot of these beings, such as Bigfoot, are actually crossing over from an interdimensional plane.
well, that's such a great segue for what I'm going to talk about today because I can actually tie evidence to that.
That is
photographic evidence,
Wait a
which
minute.
you're going to love.
This is a delicious tease.
Yeah,
and we'll make sure
totally.
we put that stuff up on Instagram and the Facebook page so you can see it.
love visual aids.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Well, you're going to love this. I got
can't
I
wait.
got a nutty one for you.
Oh, boy.
That's part of the reason I love this stuff so much is I love the eyewitness photo stuff, but I also love when eyewitnesses draw what they've seen.
I have that
not
for you
always
today.
good
So
at it. And so it's
Yes.
always it looks, it's always the cruder the drawing, the
Yes.
creepier it is.
Totally.
I have a photo that's literally a drawing. It looks like the finale of Stranger Things, like the black tentacles going into a kid's mouth. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, well, before we get there, Mary,
Yeah.
I believe you have a story to share today that I am personally excited about because I think that Mary and I have encountered the same ghost at different points in time.
It's
So,
amazing.
Mary,
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you have not told your story
I have not
yet.
told. I've
Okay.
told it before. I actually
Yes.
told it on Julie Klausner's podcast a few years ago, but we have not discussed it.
I've never heard
yet.
it.
Okay,
Bryce has
great.
never heard it.
So, Michael and I both went to a fine arts boarding school in northern Michigan called Interlochen Arts Academy, and I was there. I was there in '01, and I graduated '03.
I was there
So-
in 994. I graduated in, I don't remember, 98. I left in 98. So we missed each other by a
We
couple
missed
years.
each other, but yes. So Interlochen, it's a really beautiful place. It's very magical. It's in the woods in northern Michigan. It's like this haven for young artistic people, and there's like practice rooms all over the campus. So when you're walking to your math class or whatever, you're hearing people play on the violin, practice their violin, and they have different majors there. There's music majors, voice majors, theater majors, visual arts majors. So it's just really, it's this really, yeah.
And they're all being defunded. No, I'm just kidding.
And everything's going to hell.
Right, no, but the arts, yes. That's
We
Yeah,
won't
amazing.
for
need
sure.
any use
You don't
for
need
the
that
arts
stuff.
because we're not going to have the planet anymore.
That's right. It's, nothing
But
matters.
it is sort of like one of these utopian societies that we've touched upon. I think back when we were talking to
Yeah, the sacred
Pete's,
sciences.
Pete's summer home in New Hampshire was near that utopian spiritualist cult.
Right. He
Which
said it wasn't a cult.
He said it wasn't a cult
on the record.
but yeah, it really is a magical place.
It is. And part of the history of Interlochen is it was founded originally as a summer camp, still functions as a summer camp to this day, but at some point, I don't know when exactly.
1960s.
Yeah.
It became an academy.
Yeah, they started making it an academy. But in its first few years of being a summer camp, there was an incident where a young girl drowned because they have a lake where it's situated right on a lake, and
Green
they would have. Green Lake. Yeah, they would have swimming activities there, for the summer camp. And a young girl, I think she was 9
Oh, man.
at the time that she drowned, and her name was Lois Grunow, and they named a memorial theater after her, a recital space.
Now, by the time, I'm going to interject for a moment here
do.
because Mary came after my years. And when I was there, the Grunow Theater was still one of our main classrooms and performance spaces. And it was this
Yeah.
tiny little red cottage that sat on the bluff that overlooked Glass Lake.
Wow.
Or, Green Lake. And anyway, so we were still using it as a theater. Halfway through my time there, the fire marshal came in and went, this place could go up in flames any moment. So
Wow.
they gutted it. They took out all the old seats. They took out all the old curtains. And it became a bare bones space that we could still have classes in, but there was like a maximum of 21 occupants, and that caused some drama for rehearsals and all this stuff. But when I was there my first year, itself, the theater, was this really magical little spot. You could feel it. And
Good
we
energies.
knew what Mary's about to tell you. The first thing you would find out is the older kids or the kids who'd been there would be like, hey, just so you know, this theater's haunted by the ghost of Lois Grunow, who drowned in 1927.
I love that.
Yes. So, and that's true. Like, also, that's so I didn't realize it was still in use up until that point, because I was under the impression that, so the summer camp at Interlochen is massive, acres and acres of land. They have cabins, they have thousands of campers. So there's tons of like cabins and theaters and spaces that are in use during the summer camp that become not in use during the academy year, because the academy is so much smaller. And during the winter months, they kind of close down all those cabins and
Off season.
yeah,
The Shining.
that's right. But you're not even allowed to like wander over into those areas.
That's where we would go sneak off and smoke cigarettes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Kiss.
Cool Kids Club.
So my understanding of the Grunow Theater was that it was sometimes used during this summer camp for a small rehearsal space, but totally not off. It was off limits when like nobody went in there during the academy year. And I had heard stories from various older students about like, oh, this is the space on campus that's haunted. And during my years there, I was there for 2 years, and I never experienced anything. If I remember correctly, the theater is situated on this little path, and it's somewhat close to the shore. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's right on the bluff. It overlooks the lake.
Okay, so down the path
good
from
setting.
Oh yeah. So right down the path from there, there's like our cafeterias right around there, and then there's this little patio area with a swinging chair that sometimes after dinner, after lunch or something, you go out there and hang out with your friends. It's kind of small. I would say it's, I don't know, 10 people or 15 people can hang out there. And it's got a little railing. You could look out over the lake. It's very nice. So my 2 years there didn't experience anything. I had a really hard time leaving there. That was my first.
Me too.
Yeah,
so
it was
much so
really
that I
tough.
did a postgraduate year there.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
was tempted
and it was
to
so
do
funny
that.
because the day that when I graduated in '97, technically, I remember on the ride home I had a dream that the school came, like the people in the school, kind of the spirit of the school came to me and said, "You're not done yet." And I had I had already
Wow.
accepted going to a college, and then in August I just went, I can't go to the school. I need to go back and I need to redirect and get into a better school that I want to go to. So it's a magical
Yeah.
place.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's very. It was also for me. I grew up in a small town in Virginia and didn't really. My cultural horizons were very limited, and going there, I was like, I learned so much and like grew so much and met people who were just life changing. And so when I left there, I was scared. I was scared to leave there because I didn't know if I'd be able to find that same
Usually,
kind of
most
magic.
people are scared to stay in the place with ghosts.
That's right.
You wanted to.
I was afraid to leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So what happened on this patio?
Well, so I went away to college, and that fall I came back to see my friends in a play, and I was there, and I had a great time, and I miss my friends so much. And everybody has to be in their dorm rooms by like 10 p.m. on a weeknight or something. And because I'm not a student anymore, those rules didn't apply to me. And I had to drive. This is crazy. I had a class the next morning back in the college I went to just outside Chicago. And so we were going to start driving at midnight, basically, and get back to Chicago at 6 a.m., take a nap, go to class.
Man, remember when you could do that?
Yeah.
And so that was the plan. It was me and this friend of mine who made this trip together. And so there I was. Everybody, curfew was up, and I was like wandering around the campus, and I missed the place so much. I was just kind of grieving over.
I've done this. I've done this. I've come back and just cried.
Yeah. And I was wandering around just crying. And I was like,
We really did have a similar
We
experience.
did.
Well, you might be on the same kind of frequency,
Just
you know.
a
Yeah,
couple of
for sure.
sad loners
Just a
missing
couple of
their old high
sad
school.
sacks.
Well.
So I wandered around and eventually I wandered to that balcony area. And I was truly not in the headspace at all where I was thinking about anything scary happening. I wasn't like, my senses weren't super alert. I wasn't like looking for, I wasn't at
was
all in that
happening.
headspace. Yeah. And so there I was standing on the balcony, just weeping, just wallowing in my, I don't know.
Nostalgia.
And feeling this breeze from the lake. And then in my right ear, someone whispered, "I want to touch you."
Wow.
And the only way out of there is I had to turn around and like run in the direction of the voice that just happened. But my first thought was, I'm about to be assaulted. Like my stomach dropped into my butt, and I turned and sprinted. And as I turned, I like wildly looked around me, and there was nothing there. There was nobody there. And there's like 2 or 3 trees there, but there was nothing. They're skinny. There's no one around them.
May I ask you a question? Did you
Yeah.
intuit it like have a gender or like an age, or was it just like a?
It was. I initially, and probably because I'm a woman and this is something we think about, I was like, this is a man and he's about to do. So I initially was
my
like, that's a
goodness.
man and this is going to happen.
Wow.
And then, but since then, if I look back on it, it's just kind of a generic whisper. It didn't really have a timbre to it.
This actually
Well,
makes me feel emotional because of my own connection with this story and Lois, who like my group of friends were we made an Ouija board and contacted her.
I'm very curious the history
very
of this
strange.
girl and her family,
Well-
and perhaps I'm thinking maybe that might have been her father or something.
No, I don't know.
Who knows?
I actually don't read it as that. I think it was her reaching out to make contact.
Look at me
That's
reaching though. I'm
what-
like,
No.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's
That
what
might have been the
that's what
plumbers.
eventually I interpreted it
Because
as.
I think she was desperate to contact the students because we would hear stories about things being knocked over, things
Yeah.
being moved around, and then can I share my
Yeah,
What happened after
just
that?
just really quickly. So I sprinted to my car. I got my friend. We got in the car and we drove home. And I was like totally like adrenaline pumping. And I was thinking about it. And then eventually I brought it up to some friends who that had gone to visit, and I told them that story, and they were like, "That was Lois. That was Lois. She saw you crying and like wanted to comfort you." And I
Yeah.
was like, yes, that actually, I wonder what would have happened if I had stood there.
Yeah. I just had the thought that words are so important and how we interpret them. I want to touch you, I want
know.
to like genuinely affect you,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
don't
also
know.
the creepiest thing to hear from
That's
just anybody.
right.
Exactly.
I mean, my first initial interpretation was that of you. Like, ooh, that is not.
I would have gone
So
Yeah.
scary.
running
That is-
scared.
Gosh.
So the summer that they shut down the theater, I came back to school for my senior year, and my friend Sadie was like, "Did you hear about the theater?" And I said, "Yes." And I go, "How does it look?" She's like, "It's gutted." And I said, "Well, I want to go see it before class tomorrow." She goes, "It's really sad." So we walked down the hill, and as we're approaching the hill to the theater, I get just like this wave of chills rushes over me. And I look over at Sadie, and she is frozen in her tracks. And she looks at me, and I look at her. And I know Sadie's, she and I we've always talked about Lois. And I go, and then like a couple kids came out from around a cabin, a nearby cabin. I was like, oh, okay, there's people here. And they pass through, and she goes, no, there's something going on. And I look, without talking, I look at the window that leads in what was the girls' dressing room, which is on the right side of the building. And we'll post pictures of this too for this episode. I took pictures of it recently. And through the window, I could see what I can only describe as like a smudge. It was kind of like watching a Polaroid picture come into focus.
Sure, dark figure.
The longer we looked at it, it was flesh colored. It was sort of peachy white. It didn't glow. But as I stood there, I could start to see the outline of eyebrows, the shadow of a nose, lips, and features started to form. It was just like watching a Polaroid picture come into focus.
Wow.
Sadie and I are not saying a thing. And it gets to the point where I can see her hair braided down parted down the middle and braided into pigtails like Laura Ingalls Wilder. And that's when I go, well, I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing things. And Sadie grabs my hand and goes, can you see her pigtails?
Oh my God. I just got chills.
I got chills off you too. So this is
and
multiple.
the curtain opened further, like a hand slid the curtain wider. And I go, well, I got to go take a look. She's like, I'm not going any closer.
Well, you said that? Mm-hmm. I got to go take a look.
So I walk, and the grade drops. So when you get to the building, the window, I'm 6'1". I'm probably 6 foot around the time, too. In high school as a tall kid. And so the window is just above eye level for me. So I walk down, and I look up, and I see, sitting in the window, clear as day, a pale alabaster girl.
Oh my God.
I can see the white of her eyes, and she is staring right into me.
Wow.
And my brain did this thing where I went, oh, it's David. No, wait, it's Robin. No, wait a minute. It must be Cat. No, and I felt, this is back when there were still Rolodex files. I felt my brain spinning.
Trying
so hard. And I did not get scared until my brain went, I don't know what this is. Yeah. And then I shot about 5 feet in the air, screamed, ran back to Sadie. Wow. We clutched each other. And then literally like that, the chills went away. And we look back at the window and there's nobody there.
Wow.
That's the best.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Well, listen, we have to move on, but...
That's great.
I cannot believe we both had, and there's so many more Lois stories, and we're gonna have to talk more about it too. And we might touch on it a little bit, but we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back,
no, we won't touch on it.
We will not
touch anything.
We're not touching anybody here.
Yes.
When we come back, Bryce is going to tell us our high strangeness story of the week.
So, wow, that was crazy. But I can't wait to talk to you about more crazy. So my story that I want to bring to the Bigfoot Collectors Club today is about SKINWALKER RANCH. Have you ever heard of SKINWALKER RANch?
No.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
It's terrifying.
Yes, good. So SKINWALKER RANch is a little, it's about 480 acres of rich land in Wichita County, Utah, just southeast of Ballard. And as far as the paranormal activity goes there, we're talking UFOs, Sasquatch, cattle mutilations, psychic manifestations, crop circles, a Stranger Things-style shadow creature, poltergeist inside the house, and even a rare mysterious presence known only as the Dark One. I mean, you name it, their residents have seen it. So, I mean, where do we begin? I'm going to start right around 1996.
So it's a ranch house with a family living there?
Yes, there's 480 acres, and I'm going to start with the ranch house. A man named, we know him now as Terry Sherman. For a long time, books referred to him as Tom Gorman to hide him and his name's family. Terry Sherman and his wife, Gwen, had 2 children. They moved to the ranch around 96. Nobody had lived there for a few years. They find all these locks and like these padded bolts and like chains. And what is that? Anyway, the next day, they're literally moving in when this huge black wolf, strange, comes out of the woods. And well, here's some. I'm going to show you some pictures. And these are all up on, we'll put some of these up. But this is the entrance to SKINWALKER RANch. And anyway, so he sees this big black wolf come out of the woods. And it comes right up to the family. So much so that they're like, should we pet this thing? Yeah, they pet it. They literally place physical hands on.
This is
Terry Sherman, and this is what is known in ancient as dire wolf. This is what looks like a dire wolf. It's a big.
And this is similar to last week when we talked about John Bell seeing the strange creature on his property. This is what kicked you off on this story to investigate the story.
Absolutely. So
research it.
This is an actual photo of a wolf taken by. This is crazy. So anyway, they're petting this wolf, and then the wolf sees one of Terry's cattle, and the wolf goes after it, and it strikes at the cattle and pierces blood. Tom, oh my gosh! First, him and his son start hitting it with sticks, not working. Goes to his truck to grab the gun. Bam, 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 not working. Grab my rifle. Pablamo, pablamo, not working. Flesh fall. The final shot takes a piece of meat off this thing.
Have you done sound effects before? Because
onomatopoeia is that?
That's pretty good.
Pablamo was really good.
So a flesh of meat comes off this thing, but the wolf appears unfazed, and it just slowly trots back away into the forest. Now, this is the start of what would become a hellacious series of happenings on this ranch. After that, I mean, all the hell gates just kind of flooded open. I mean, blue orbs, and I mean, and I bring this up because, you know, we often talked about, you know, the paranormal, but it usually has no physical effects. Well, on this ranch, it did. One incident in particular, these blue orbs, which they described as like softball size, you could see them like bubbling inside. They would hang around the ranch. Anyway,
these are floating balls of light.
Orbs, floating balls of light. Terry and his dogs, he says, go after him, right? Sends the dogs after him into the field. Yipe, yipe, yipe. There's some more for you. Here's that. That's it. He's too scared to go that night to see what happened. He goes back the next morning, sees what looks like this dried and brittle black spot and a viscous, mucousy lump of grease, which were his dogs. So,
lump of grease.
Yeah. So this was really
to be fair, he had molded dogs out of bacon that weren't real dogs.
6 cats disappeared in one night. But anyway, so this is where he's like, I think we're in danger here. One in particular incident that everybody loves is he had these prize-winning these bulls, these breeding bulls, and these are big bulls. And one night, his wife's, you know, they're leaving. He says, God, if they do anything to those bulls, we're screwed. He says, he's probably thinking you shouldn't have said that. They get back. They're gone. The bulls, 4 bulls, gone. He's, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Maybe I'll look in that trailer. Like the size of an 18-wheeler. They can't be in it. It's too small. He goes in there. All 4 of them are in there in a trance-like state. He says, Gwen, I found... Boom. They snap out of the state. Boom, bucking, and they all buck to hell trying to get out of there. Right? How 4 bulls decided to go in there. Strange.
This sounds insane.
Yeah.
This sounds like a really, disgusting 1990s horror movie that I would have been too scared to watch in high school.
This is awful. Here's some photographs of drawings. We talked about drawings of the Skinwalker.
What's the Skinwalker?
Let's talk about the Skinwalker. So this is a property.
These poor animals. What's happening?
Well, this is a property right next to a Ute Indian reservation tribe, and the Ute tribe felt that there had been an indifference done upon them, and there's different theories. You know, one theory is that a shaman opened up a portal. The shaman known as the Dark One. He was fooling around with black magic, too powerful, because to train these shamans, they go through the medicines and they have to learn black arts and white arts, and anyway, so some theorize that this person might have opened up a portal that they're still trying to seal to this day. Look, here's some drawings. Look at this thing. Talk about Stranger Things, which is on Netflix. I love this one. Look at this. It's like how. Remember, I told you about the kid, the thing going in the kid's mouth. Look at that.
Right.
Look at that.
So we're looking at drawings of strange creatures that they've seen. The
Skinwalker.
The Skinwalker. So what's the Skinwalker's powers? What is he doing?
Nobody really knows.
Have
but
they
obviously,
told? At this point, have they reported any of these?
Obviously,
weird stuff
there's
to the police?
UFO connection. Oh my God, the police and authorities are all involved. I'm gonna move into that. Yes, of course. All the neighboring residents have seen things too, and I'm going to get into why I love this story, and we're at the Bigfoot Collectors Club. Here is a photo that you will never see of a portal opening and a hairy figure emerging out of it.
Whoa.
And so this is the photographic evidence taken by NIDS, Robert Bigelow's aerospace company, who we'll get into, who owns the ranch now. This is a photograph of linking Bigfoot to the paranormal world. And the reporters that saw this said, this looks like a Bigfoot creature that just came out of a portal that opened up in front of our eyes and camera, and now he's walking into the woods.
Okay, so we've got so far cattle mutilations, disappearing animals.
Yeah.
Someone got 6 cats, brought them to the ranch, and they disappeared.
Yeah.
I want to know more about what 6 cats were doing
Well,
there. And then we've got the orbs, and now we have portals.
Bigfoot
opening
portals. Yeah, it's a whole mess of
hairy
stuff.
Bipeds coming
And,
out.
I want to fast forward a little bit into the happenings started happening inside the house, and they couldn't take it anymore. They started sleeping in the same main room. And to comfort each other, they'd wake up and say, what did you nightmare last night? And they all had the recurring nightmares. But that's how. Now, let me fast forward to dun 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 dun. Oh, here's a couple more going on Bigfoot. There's a Bigfoot track in snow at the Utah ranch. And look at this creepy paw left on somebody's car window. How fun is that?
That looks bloody.
So now comes in, dun 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 dun, Robert Bigelow, a person who's supposedly never written an email. He's a billionaire, a Vegas hotel billionaire.
That's something to brag about.
Yeah, and he also owns an aerospace company. He's the only private citizen who has his own floating lab above the earth.
What?
There he is.
Is that true?
It's true. So that's Robert Bigelow.
The Justice League also have a satellite
Well,
watchtower.
there's his satellite, so you may see. That's his. So he steps in, he hears about these stories, and he says, I want this place. Maybe.
Why? Who wants this?
Well, he doesn't have email, so he doesn't know.
Yes.
He doesn't know.
Well, he is a paranormal enthusiast, just like us, Michael. And actually, he has a strange connection to another great paranormal podcast, Coast to Coast. He was a funder for an early episodes of Art Bell's great radio show. Anyway, so he was a longtime lover of paranormal. He steps in with his NIDS team, and Terry Sherman and his family like, help us. He buys the ranch right there. Strangely enough, he convinces Terry to stay as the ranch owner. And now he's part of the... You should read who's on the NIDS board on this place. He assembles a team quite like the Justice League of paranormal experts. It's on SKINWALKERRANCH.org. I recommend anybody to look this up. And all these photos are here too. So they put together like this UFO team out of like the books, Jacques Vallée, like John
Stan
Alexander.
Friedman. Is Stan Friedman on that team?
He's not, but the Department of Defense is on there, and that's a lot of the naysayers. They're like, hey, he's kind of like zooming in on all the UFO territory. Some people are like, he's building a space hotel for aliens, But that's
how are they going to book reservations if he's not online?
I know. But so he bought the ranch, and they've been recording the happenings there ever since. And that's just a little bit about SKINWALKER Ranch.
What is the SKINWALKER?
Well, the SKINWALKER could be, as you talked about in that earlier episode, a trickster spirit, an ancient shaman with immense powers. Well, first of all, I've read the book, and I recommend it. It's by George Knapp, who is the authority on this. And
George Knapp also hosted Coast to Coast.
Yes, he did. And Colm Kelleher, who was the deputy of NIDS, and he was assigned to this location, and they did all the best scientific reporting on paranormal stuff. I lost my train of thought. But
we were saying what the SKINWALKER was.
Yes. Well, I believe reading this book, what I loved is this guy's rocking on his chair, Terry the rancher, and then he says, I just look up in the sky and a portal opens up to another dimension. Like the swirling kind of vortex, like stuff you would only see in the movies. And so that's why, I kind of feel like, I just feel like this is a cross-dimensional roads of the universe.
Okay. I'm missing.
Yes.
And I'm listening to this story and I'm scared.
Here.
No, and there is a lot. Is there a creature walking around that they go, that's the SKINWALKER?
Oh. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
what
thank
is
you for
the
getting me
actual
here.
SKINWALKER?
Well, so there's all
not what the theory about. We'll get into the theory, but
nobody knows.
So is the SKINWALKER the wolf? Is he the blue orb?
They've seen a lot of animals. The wolves are just. Maybe he's a shapeshifter. They see a lot of different creatures, a lot of different. This is one of my favorite stories. I'm so glad you brought me this. So they bring like this hippy dippy like meditation guy out to figure out what's going on. And he goes out into the middle and he's into this on his ranch and he starts meditating. And Terry sees in the woods what looks like the invisible predator from the movie. You know Predator, the movie where he gets like all invisible? So this thing's moving around in the trees and this dude's meditating. He sees the invisible creature come up to the meditating guy, and the invisible creature roars something in his ear. And the meditation guy goes, "Get me out of here." And he runs literally to Terry. And Terry had to like hold him, hug him. And drive him off the ranch.
That was just invisible creature speak for "I want to make contact with you."
That's
you
right.
seem
That's
sad.
right.
Yes.
I'm trying to reach out to you.
I'm trying to reach out.
Oh my God.
So there is they've seen this sort of shadowy being on the ranch along with all this other activity.
Yeah, just right near. Here's some 9 Mile Canyon. These are glyphs on the walls just outside of the ranch.
Oh my gosh.
Ancient glyphs.
Okay,
So-
well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to ask Mary, what the hell is it? Okay, we're back. Bigfoot Collectors Club.
Yep.
Okay, we just heard a story of high strangeness about a ranch where spooky stuff is happening, and to this day,
deadly spooky stuff.
And so, Mary, that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I have
But
the answer, though.
This is what I'm asking you.
Spit
What
it
the hell
out.
was that?
Listen, what the hell was that? Look, there's a lot of things going on. It's clear. I mean, there's photographic evidence that there's a portal opening up. And the former owner claimed that he would see a portal. And then would this Bigelow guy see it? Or he would claim to, or-
the research and the evidence, they put it all up on Skinwalker Ranch. You're there to take a look and peruse yourself.
And here's my theory. I mean, I fully believe that there's something ancient going on there.
Oh, yeah.
There's some sort of
I think you touched on it.
Yeah, there's some sort of ancient force. I don't know if it would be tied to the Native American tribe nearby. I don't know if it would be tied to just that place, but I do very firmly believe that there are some places that are just weird. Like, I think that's true in I heard about this in
scientific terms. This place is just
Look,
weird.
that's what I
Stamp.
think is going on. This place is weird. But I have heard these stories about, like, in maps of early America, long before Europeans came in and settled it, maps of where certain Native American tribes would be located. There were spaces in the country that they just avoided. There's spaces in West Virginia that are like that.
totally.
And, I would believe that in the West.
I think this lore
the story we did last week
Yeah.
was in it was in Virginia.
Yeah.
It was wait, was it Kentucky?
Might have been
Now I'm
Connecticut.
forgetting.
We'll
No.
find out.
See, I do this research and I forget, but it was another place where
Yeah.
this family was haunted by a spirit that I think really was there long before anybody else
Yeah.
was. It's like almost nature based.
There's another Skinwalker Ranch in Connecticut,
I
actually.
got a confirmation nod from Mary on
Yep,
the
I
nature
pointed at him and I nodded.
There's another place supposedly in Connecticut that's just like this ranch, a
I've
newer
heard about that
hotspot.
place. I've heard about that place.
Yeah,
So, yes.
a hot spot. I think that I believe that. As far as this Bigelow guy, I gotta tell you, I don't totally trust him.
Yeah, who doesn't write an email?
Well, who doesn't write an email, first of all? You got to get online. And second of all, it sort of feels like he's capitalizing on the eeriness of it. Whereas maybe he's just a smart businessman for doing that. But I think...
Seems like a good plan. Let's buy a haunted farm.
Yeah.
All right, so go hunt and make it even more haunted with photos and all this stuff. I think he is. It's interesting to me that he is not living there. That he was interested enough in that space to market it and make it sort of a business out of it, but not invested enough to live there. So I don't know.
You want him to live there. I love that.
Well, I
Get
think
in
he
there.
should live there.
Yeah, build a biodome of some
Yeah.
kind. If you're gonna go all the
Build
way.
a floating
Right.
office building
above
there.
Yeah,
He's just
get
like
close to the portals.
He's viewing the scary stuff from like a monitors in his comfy chair with the
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
scary.
You know what?
Give me
Check the
more.
trunk of his car. You're gonna find those 6 cats. That's
Right.
what I think.
Yeah, I don't think we could trace it back. I mean, I think it would have have connections to maybe some tribal things or maybe some
that lore may have started way
things.
before the
Exactly.
natives ever got there.
Exactly.
So I showed you those glyphs on the canyon walls. Those weren't put there by the Native Americans.
That's
Maybe it's just
spooky.
a hot spot.
Yeah.
Hot spot. All right. Well, that's the Skinwalker Ranch for you. Thank you, Bryce.
You're welcome.
That's spooky stuff. This has been a really spooky episode.
Yeah, awesome.
Super
I'm sorry if you're
Great
listening to this before you go to bed. But maybe we can change the tenor of things. When we come back right after this, we're going to go into our collector's corner.
Great.
And we're back. And we're back.
I love it.
We're back at Bigfoot Collectors Club. And Mary, so Bryce and I collect things. It's not just paranormal stories, but objects of affection, little tokens and trinkets. Is there anything that you ever collected in your life?
Look, I'm not much of a collector, but there was a time actually when I was at Interlaken where I would every Sunday I'd take the bus to go to the mall.
Grand Traverse Mall.
Grand Traverse Mall. And I would go I was really into the Disney store, and I would go in and I would buy, they would have these like commemorative nostalgic pins.
Oh, yeah.
And I so wish I had kept them, but every
Those
week.
are worth a lot of money now.
I know. But every week I'd go and I would buy some and I'd buy some and I never wear them. I just like have them. So that would be the only thing that I've ever collected.
Interlaken is also when I started collecting action figures because the
Whoa.
new Star Wars figures came out, and I too would take the bus in every Monday because we had Mondays off, strangely.
Yeah.
We had Sundays and Mondays were our weekends at the time. And then we would go into the mall, and I would go to the Target, and I would always bring back a Star Wars action figure every week.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we've shared a lot of special
that's
moments
very interesting.
across a dimensional divide of time.
Well, I wonder if Lois was a collector, and since we both had something happen with her,
She's like, I want to show you my toys.
she's like, I really want some of these pins. Could you get some for me?
Touch the pins. Daddy, I want to get the pins too.
Oh yes, I should have said when she said I want to touch you, it did go. I want to touch your pins.
Right.
And I did. I left.
You
that
ran
part
away
out.
too
I'm
fast.
Sorry. Yeah, it's true.
You're too scared.
Cool.
So, Bryce, you said you have something to share with
Yes,
the
I
group
do.
today.
Check it out.
It came out of your sock.
This
Is that an M&M?
Is that a gumball?
this was given to me.
This
by
is the moment that I've discovered Bryce is actually insane.
Yeah, I know. This is a little crazy, but you know
I
what?
thought you were a little intense about
I
these
am a little
stories.
crazy.
That's why I love having you here.
One of
but
my
you
great-
just pulled a gumball out of your sock.
Well, this is a white marble, and this was given to me by a great friend. His name is Chris Munch.
How long was it in there?
I wanted to like grab it without making a lot of noise, you know. so
God, just
out of
pick
my
it
sock.
up.
Yeah, just pick it up. It came out of my sock. I should just stop here. I think we're done with this.
Sir.
Now I
Wait,
look
what
nuts.
is this?
Now I look nuts.
Wait
till you hear
It's
the
a
story
white
behind
marble.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So my great friend Chris Munch, and he is an incredible filmmaker. He did a movie about Bigfoot called Letters from the Big Man. And during his time up in the Pacific Northwest researching, he had a lot of communication with a family of Bigfoot, and they would leave him gifts, and they would stack things, and they would leave rocks, and it got to the point where they started leaving white marbles. And he came back with a few, and I had lunch with him, and he's another paranormal buddy. He's making a great movie right now on aliens and about their interaction with past presidents. But
Holy shit! Truth
Yeah.
bombs dropping left
I know.
and right.
No, I know. So I was having lunch, and I was like just kind of fast. Like he pulled it out too. I was like a white gumball. And
Did he
was-
pull it out of his
Yeah,
sock?
he might have. No, that was just me. And he's like, he's like, you'll love this part. He goes, well, they wanted you to have this one. And so
They wanted you to
yeah, here,
have
I'm going
it?
to throw it to you.
Oh my
Catch it, Mary.
gosh.
Hup! She caught it.
Nice.
Barely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, I missed who was leaving these? I was still thinking about the
The
sock.
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
family.
family.
Oh, Bigfoot family.
I
No
think,
way.
the details might be blurry,
I'm
but
absorbing the energy. Thank you, Bigfoot family.
yeah, I thought I'd bring that to share.
You know why they pass these out? Because they don't wear socks, so they
Well,
have.
right. No, I know. You know, it was strange. I was up near the Bat Caves on Bronson Canyon walking with my family. And my son goes up this path and he finds A white marble.
No.
I'm not kidding you.
No.
And I brought it home too.
No.
Yeah.
Why is no one investigating the white marble phenomenon?
I don't know.
Have you ever had a scientist test what's in it?
No, I believe he had somebody,
Can
do
we
some
get
research.
to a lab?
Yes.
Scientists.
Will you test this?
If you're listening,
Right.
we have a white marble that needs an examination.
It's pure Bigfoot tumor. No.
Wow.
Who knows what that is? But anyway, Bigfoot Collectors Club.
Amazing.
I love it. Oh, gosh. Okay, great. So we're going to throw up some of those pictures on our Facebook page, Bigfoot Collectors Club. We'll put stuff up on Instagram at Bigfoot Collectors Club. You can also find us there on Twitter. If you have stories at home that you want to share with us and you'd like Bryce and I to read on the show, please email us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. We're going to start doing listener file episodes.
We want to hear from you.
And we want some weird. I know everybody's got ghost stories. I've got ghost stories. And if you have anything that's really weird, we want the really weird stuff, like marbles that are in your socks, sock marble stories.
It just got so weird.
Which is great. That's what this club is all about. Before we go, I want to say thank you to Mary.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much for coming. And Mary, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at mholland85 and on Instagram at maryhollandays.
And when does wild horses perform? I'm thinking about that marble still.
Yes. Our next show will be, I'm not sure when will this come out?
This will be up by the end of
2 weeks.
November. Yeah, 2
Oh,
weeks.
perfect. Okay, so our next Wild Horses show will be December 2nd.
Perfect.
Great.
This is just in time.
At UCB.
Please come see that. And awesome. Anything else you want to plug?
That's it.
Great. That's fine.
Enough.
And that is enough. Bryce, you anything to plug?
No, just Bigfoot Collectors Club on Instagram. Follow us.
We'll
that's
see you there. And I'm at McMills on all the social medias. I want to thank Riley Bray, our sound engineer. And our music is from the song Come Again by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.